Hey, how's it going, guys? Blue Tempest here, and welcome to my reading log for the month of August 2021. Now, for this past month's reading log, it's gonna be a little bit of a shorter one, as August was a pretty busy month for me. I did go on my vacation, which you guys saw some of those shopping videos that I did when I was on my vacation. So I didn't have as much time to read manga, but I still did want to update you guys on the manga that I did actually end up reading this month. So to start off, I did read the second volume of My Dress Up Darling towards the beginning of the month. Now, if you guys don't already know about this series, it's basically a romantic comedy about a cosplayer girl, and the guy character is the one who makes the cosplays for her. This honestly is just a really wholesome read. It does have a little bit of fan service sprinkled in here and there, but honestly it's not as bad as you would think. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this series. The second volume kind of shows them going to a actual convention, and it's Marin's first time wearing her cosplay in public. So I thought it made for some pretty cute scenarios with the characters and everything. And then towards the end of the volume, we do get a little bit of the start of maybe some romance in there, which I was excited about. And yeah, like I said, just a super wholesome read, and I am looking forward to continue reading My Dress Up Darling. The next series I want to talk to you guys about is Deadman Wonderland. So I did start reading this series. This is a series that I've had in my collection in its entirety for a really long time. I have been putting it off for a while, and yeah, I decided that I should actually start reading it. So I did finally read the first 2 volumes this past month, and I really enjoyed what I read so far. Deadman Wonderland is a series that I think is definitely really interesting due to its setting. We see our main character, Ganta. He is like a middle school student, and he gets accused of murdering all of the other students in his classroom. Obviously, he was not the one who did this. It was this strange red man that did it, but nobody seems to believe him. So he is transferred to Deadman Wonderland, which is this giant theme park, but it's also a prison, so it's really interesting. And then we get into kind of some situations where the inmates have to battle each other. Ganta is kind of like on the death sentence, but he can actually extend the time that he's alive by eating these candies that you can only get from like fighting the other inmates. So far, some of the characters definitely are really interesting, as I don't know if you could even trust anyone, because all of them characters that Ganta meets are all, you know, criminals. So makes for a really interesting manga. I can definitely see this going to that kind of like battle shonen route where there's like a tournament or like there's some battles and everything, but that's kind of what I was expecting with this series, and I'm not complaining, as the artwork and the action and everything is really well done. So yeah, I can't wait to continue reading Deadman Wonderland. All right, and before we get into what my manga of the month for the month of August is, like I said, this is a pretty short reading log, but I did start reading Aizu. Now, I used to think that the series was pronounced as Eyes, but in the first volume they do explain that it's actually pronounced as Aizu. And this series is a romantic comedy, and I do have the entire set of it, all 15 volumes, which I'm pretty glad about, because I know that like volume 9 and 15 are like super hard to find. So if you are interested in the series, then keep that in mind, especially volume 15. I've seen go for like $100 on eBay and stuff like that. So getting into my actual thoughts on this series, yeah, this is a romantic comedy. Honestly, really reminds me of like Rent a Girlfriend, but without the whole renting a girlfriend gimmick, I guess. It's kind of got like a love triangle thing going on, and I did, by the way, read the first 9 volumes of the series, and there are 15, so I still haven't completed it, but I have read enough to see what the series is pretty much all about, and it's kind of like a love triangle, like I said. And what I do like about this series is that this series makes you really care about all of the characters. I feel like the main guy, he's kind of torn between 2 girls, and I feel like I do like the 2 girls pretty much equally. I think there's no wrong answers here, and it's really interesting. I mean, obviously this is set in high school, and it was also written in the 90s, so it does feel a little dated at times, but I do really like the comedy in this series. It's just really playful and fun, nothing too groundbreaking or anything, especially with the story, as like I said, this is really just a romantic comedy and there's no gimmicks or anything whatsoever. But like I said, all of the characters are, enjoyable. Even some of the side characters start getting a little bit more spotlight as the series goes on, which I do like. And one of the things I really appreciate about the series is the pacing. It's got a really fast pace to it. The main character, his name is Ishitaka. You kind of see him mature and grow up in his high school years, as it starts off with him being a junior, and then it just goes throughout the school year. And I found that aspect of this series really enjoyable. I like a little bit more of a faster paced series most of the time, especially when it comes to romance. But this isn't a perfect series in my opinion. I think there are some flaws. If you're looking for a romance that is very clear cut and you know who's the main couple and everything, this might annoy you a little bit, because I know that it's taken forever for any sort of romance to stir up in this. Obviously the main character has feelings for these 2 girls, and there's always situations where he tries to confess his love to them, and then it doesn't end up happening because this other crazy thing happens, and there's always like some sort of a cop-out. It kind of gets a little repetitive in that aspect, but I could forgive it just because of how enjoyable the manga is in general. I will also say I do really like the art style in this series. It's got a very classic vintage like 90s style to it. The covers are really weirdly realistic, and the art looks nothing like this in the actual manga itself. I'm not gonna lie, the covers are a little creepy. It doesn't really affect my enjoyment of the series at all. It's just a random side note. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to finishing this series. I probably will do that very soon before I honestly read anything else, because I'm really invested right now. But yeah, if you guys like a shonen love triangle type of story, then give Aizu a shot. Just keep in mind that some of the volumes are really expensive and really rare, but I'm not going to say that they're impossible to find, as I was able to find an entire set of the series for under retail a couple months ago. So yeah, that is my thoughts on Aizu, and you guys will get some updated thoughts on it once I actually complete it in the next reading log. Alright, and the last manga that I do want to talk about to end off this video is my manga of the month for August, and the series in question is Berserk. Now, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys may have seen this coming, as I have posted a little bit of updates as to me reading Berserk, and I did finally finish the Golden Age arc. So I did do a 3-volume rule video on Berserk. Check it out if you haven't, so you can know my thoughts on the first 3 volumes. But since then, I have started making my way through the Golden Age arc, and I've really been taking my time with it. As well, I do think this can be a bingeable series. For me, I really enjoy just kind of taking it at my own pace while still reading other things in between. But once I got to like the 4th deluxe edition, I had to keep reading, and finishing off this arc, it was insane. If you guys have read this series, then you guys already know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that the ending of the Golden Age arc was something else. I genuinely have not read anything else that even comes close to just the absurdity that happens in that portion of Berserk. I definitely have to say that this gets a huge trigger warning, as Berserk, I think, is easily, once finishing the Golden Age arc, I can safely say that it is definitely the most disturbing and dark and twisted manga that I've read, and I feel like that's saying a lot since I have read like Shuzo Oshimi and Gantz and other things, but Berserk definitely takes the cake. And honestly, I really don't know what to say, because anything that I could say about the story and what happens is really big spoilers. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to put a lot of art up on this video, but let me just say that Berserk to me is an obvious masterpiece, and while it might not end up being my favorite manga of all time, I feel like I could still respect it and really accept the fact that, like, in my opinion, it is a masterpiece. Is it gonna always be my favorite thing to read? No. But undeniably, Berserk will end up being one of my favorite series, and I am just so glad that I am on this journey of reading it. I have decided that I am taking a bit of a pause on reading Berserk until I get some more of the deluxe editions and catch up with those releases, and then I'll start the next arc. I believe it's called the Conviction arc. You could correct me if I'm wrong. One last thing I do want to say is that there are events that take place towards the end of the Golden Age, and from a certain point onwards, the artwork just gets mind-blowingly amazing. Like, legitimately, I feel like I am looking at paintings throughout every page, and I'm just so in awe when I saw some of the things and just some of the art that was depicted in that portion of the story. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to continue reading Berserk. And with that, that completes my reading log for the month of August 2021. I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you do enjoy my content, then consider hitting the notification bell so you can get notified every time I upload a brand new video, as well as follow me on all of my social media platforms such as Instagram, which I do, like I said earlier, sometimes post some raw thoughts and just updates on what I've been reading throughout the month on my stories and things like that. So follow me on there if you haven't already, as well as on Twitter and TikTok. Those links will be in the description. And with all of that out of the way, that does it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.